Come on in, bestie. Welcome to StoryPod, where we do the doing of story development together. Brought to you by Creative BFF. Hello, bestie. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the StoryPod podcast. My name is Ashley. Thank you again for joining me. This is a video and audio podcast. If you are just listening to this, I apologize for any references I may make to things I may be doing on screen. But please feel free to come and join me on my YouTube, okay? Come and join me on the YouTube. And speaking of which, if you see, drip drops on my hair, or if you see my shirt looks a little bit wet in certain places, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the screen here, then I washed my hair today. It takes forever to dry, so please forgive that disregard, okay? But today, what I have for you, and I'm hoping this will be a little bit of a shorter, quicker episode than they usually are. As I've mentioned before, your girl likes to talk. So, that's what we listen to podcasts for, right? To hear somebody talk, okay, about their whatever they're talking about. But today I'm doing another Petty Peeve, and this is the first video episode of Petty Peeves. And it's so funny to me how the last several recordings of Petty Peeves have come from things that I've just happened to come across either in books or, videos that I'm watching on YouTube. And that is what happened with reminding myself to do this particular petty peeve, and what prompted me to want to actually go ahead and record this petty peeve. Now, I was watching a video. I think that the creator's name is Jester Bell. I will put it somewhere in the links, somewhere wherever you're consuming this media. And she basically was doing her own pet peeve. She didn't call it that, but she was doing her own pet peeve about this trope of girl bosses that is becoming quite annoying to a lot of people, myself included. And that reminded me of one of my petty peeves, which I'm going to talk about today, which is, and please forgive my language, I can't think of another word to describe this particular trope, I guess, but what we see particularly in some, I'm not going to say all, but some female characters, a trait of like annoying bitchiness that is supposed to be a sign of strength, is kind of put before the audience as a positive trait. And I don't view it as such, and it's just annoying. And I feel like this ties into the larger discussion going on regarding how female characters are portrayed and what strength is being told to the audience, what it means to be a strong woman, what we're being told is being a strong woman. That was a hard sentence to get out. Please forgive me. And I will agree with Jester Bell. I hope I'm remembering her name correctly, that it is annoying. And it makes me sad also, and it makes me concerned for my own work when I finally start putting stuff out, because I really like writing female characters. A lot of my lead characters tend to be female, not because I have any issue or any problem with having male lead characters in my stories. I think that's great. I think everybody should get a shot, okay? But probably the reason that I write a lot of female characters is because, or female main characters, or I write it from a female perspective, is because I am a female. It is a perspective that I know. I don't fully know the male perspective because I've never been a male, and I know I will never be a male. So perhaps that's why, perhaps there's an argument to be had that a good writer should be able to write, either male or female or whatever. I don't know. Perhaps I will. I just want to make sure that I do everybody justice, right? But in any case, and also I like romance, and I often write it from the perspective of a female character. But the reason that it makes me concerned about when I start putting my work out is that I feel like where we're coming to as an audience in Western society is that we are starting to be immediately on our guard whenever we see that there's a female lead, right? It's like, okay, and I feel like there are a lot of other demographics of leads that I can admit, even for myself, if I see a particular demographic in the lead, because of the type of media that's been put out a lot right now, it causes me to have preconceived notions about the type of character it's going to be and about the type of story that I'm going to see. And I think that is not fair to the writers and the creators of these stories, especially ones that aren't necessarily trying to push any particular agenda. Now, listen, if you want to push an agenda, you're a writer, you're a creator, it is well within your rights to do that. You are well within your rights to push whatever agenda you want to push. Okay. But not everybody's going to like whatever your agenda is on either, whatever side. So I'm not commenting about what writers want to write about right now. Okay. But yes, so it's a pet peeve of mine to see female strength equated with annoying bitchiness, because I do not believe that is what female strength actually looks like. Now, what female strength actually looks like is a discussion that perhaps is broader than the scope of this petty peeve, but maybe I'll touch on it a little bit. But to me, annoying bitchiness would be a flaw. Now, the only way that I would necessarily allow for that and not be immediately put off by it, or at least I would still be willing to give a story a chance if the main female lead is annoying and bitchy. Sorry, okay, is if that is her character flaw and one that she will be working through. Now, side note, in the comments, wherever you are, can you let me know what the male equivalent of annoying bitchy character trait of the annoying bitchy character trait would be for a male character? I can't quite put my finger on it, but I feel like there's probably one, right? And the reason that I don't like this, because I don't find those characters endearing. I don't, especially in the sense of, this is supposed to be a trait that I admire. This is supposed to be a trait that makes me interested in the character's story. This is a trait that's supposed to make me root for the character. It doesn't make me root for the character. It makes me feel for all of the people who have to interact with this character. And it's not something that makes me want to watch this character's story. Now, if, as I said, this is a character flaw that she's going to work through various things, and listen, maybe the catalyst for her changing is that she falls in love. Also, give me a reason for her to be annoying and bitchy. Give me something to hold on to if you're going to make me see this trait for a portion of this. And but I would like to see her work that out, because I think that in general, in real life, annoying bitchiness is not seen as a positive character trait in general. Now, I think, because I was just, a thought crossed my mind. As I was saying that, I was trying to think of instances in real life where that might be seen as something positive. I don't know, maybe it's in the TikTok sphere. I do not exist in TikTok because I don't want to be in a place that's going to just make me angry. Why should I irritate myself, right? Maybe I'm too old for it. It's out of my generation. But I think that real strength, whether it's female strength, male strength, just a character's strength, I don't think that you have to be, I'm sorry. Okay, let me finish my thought, and hopefully I'll remember to say, I think that I've figured out what the male equivalent of annoying bitchiness would be. But coming back to my thought, which I hope I didn't lose my train of thought, please forgive me, is I think that sometimes annoying bitchiness is the answer or the way that the character maybe stands up for themselves, or doesn't go with the flow. I don't think I'm explaining that correctly. I think that what we want to see is the character in moments of trial, in moments where they are tempted or they have the opportunity to compromise on values, on the goal, on loyalty or whatever, they decide not to. And they're firm in not compromising on those areas. And I wonder, and I could be incorrect because I feel like this is a thought that's not fully formed. I wonder if that is sort of what we're trying to do, letting annoying bitchiness and contrariness, perhaps that's a better word. I keep saying bitchy, please forgive me. But being just contrary for no good reason, in moments when you could be mature, when you could be the bigger person, when you could still stand firm and say no, but you don't have to do it in a contrary way. Or even if you're being faced with the antagonist, but especially if you're dealing with people, or if your character is dealing with people who are on the team, who are trying to help, who are coming alongside in the goal, and this person is just so hard to work with, and it's not ever something that they have to work through. This is from the perspective of it not being a character flaw. If it is, then that's fine, because that's just a thing that we have to work through. But when you're contrary towards people who are on your side, who are trying to help with this goal, that's just so unnecessary, so annoying. Like, can we work together as a team? There are ways to be strong and to be a leader without antagonizing the people who are trying to help you. Now, if the reason for this perceived contrariness or this perceived bitchiness is that it's kind of like the image that I'm getting, I don't quite know how to say this. The image that I'm getting is of a cat or some kind of animal backed into a corner, and they just lash out. They kind of hiss and scratch, and it's because perhaps there's trauma behind there, because of experiences that they've had, because of fear that they're trying to cover up with this sort of bitchy bravado, contrariness, where it's like they don't trust the people that they are working with. Okay, there's things to work through on that. Now, real quick, I want to say, girl, this is all over the place. I do want to say that I feel like the kind of equivalent, not direct equivalent, but a similarly annoying trait that might be seen as something that is positive for males would be this. And I feel like as I'm saying it now, I feel like it might be wrong. And I'm thinking of people that I have known, males that I've known who have acted this way, which is like this putting on of being extra cool, extra smooth, extra suavemente, extra suave, being extra sarcastic. Ooh, that might be the one. Being super sarcastic when it's not necessary. Just every other word, every response is just dripping with sarcasm and this kind of that's intended to make the other person feel dumb, and that comes, I think, from a place of insecurity. And I think that this is particularly, I feel like that every response being sarcastic and cryptic and intended to make the person feel dumb or make them look dumb does come from a place of insecurity. And I feel like the annoying bitchiness can be that as well. And that's just how it manifests, typically, maybe in males and females. You let me know if you think I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Listen, we never claim on this channel to be 100% correct and be the bastion of perfection when it comes to writing and character development. Okay? But that's just what I'm thinking. That's just what came to me. But I do think that this particular corner, this particular nugget of a female character who is just contrary, hard to get along to, always has something to say, even when it's not necessary, always has to like fight even with people that are supposed to be on their side. I think it is part of a larger narrative that's going on that people are sort of pushing back against right now, as I mentioned earlier in this podcast, and that I'm pushing back against also. And so part of what I want to do, I see this podcast as kind of being like a part one, because when I watched Jester Bell's video, and just kind of, she was a little bit ranting, which, listen, we love a good rant, so I'm not mad at the rant. But I feel like in response to that, and whenever I hear somebody talking about this subject and pushing back against this and being irritated about specific characters that exhibit this trait of, or something within this family of traits that we're told is representative of strong female character, which actually is just really annoying, really, even Mary Sue, because it ties into this whole thing of the Mary Sue perfect one. I think that the term now, which I think I said earlier, is girl boss, where it's like they are perfect and no weaknesses. And I think what Jester Bell was kind of mentioning is just being very wooden, very cardboard as a character, having no flaws, having nothing really interesting about them, just kind of being perfect and having all of the answers. And we don't really want to see that in any character, right? Characters that are perfect become annoying and boring, right? It's like, this character has all the answers. You don't need anybody. You don't want anybody. People who don't listen to you, meet a bad end, or it goes wrong when people don't listen to you. And I'm like, that's not a good character, whether it's male or female, Nobody really wants to see that, because there's nothing for us to hold on to in terms of an enjoyable character arc, an enjoyable character follow. Now, I feel like me even saying that seemed very absolute. And I think that perhaps if we really rack our brains, and maybe this will be a fun experiment to do, is like, can you, and I find it's really hard though, it's really, really hard. Can you write a main character who is basically perfect, has all the answers, everybody loves them, everybody desires them, they are the one girl in this story, okay? And there's really no character arc to speak of. Is it possible to write that character and make them interesting? Are there characters like that in, media, in storytelling? I mean, would Superman be a character like that? I'm not super deep into I'm not well versed. I don't go deep into the Superman lore. I have watched Superman movies. I have enjoyed Superman content. I did used to like low-key have a crush on a Superman, one of the Superman, okay, for like a week. But I don't know, would that kind of be an example of a perfect character? And it's kind of like, now we have to retroactively kind of make things interesting by, I don't know. Let me know. You let me know. I'm not even going to continue down that line of thought. You let me know what you think about that. And do you know of any other characters who represent perfection in some way, shape, or form, and don't really have a character arc, don't really change in any kind of way? But yeah, so I do think that this particular pet peeve ties into a larger issue that we have going on in terms of a combination, I think, of pushing a particular narrative along with perhaps lazy writing, and people just aren't having it anymore. And I'm glad. I'm here for that. Now, and you know what? I don't think that this was a particularly offensive or hot take necessarily, but perhaps I offended you. And that exists in this world. So so let me know down below if you don't agree, if you love that trope of, annoying, contrary, bitchy female characters, or even hyper sarcastic, belittling male characters. I think that would kind of be like the equivalent, right? If you like that trope and those are seeing that as a positive traits and not traits to work through, why do you like that? Why is that what you like? I'm not judging you, no judgment. Everybody likes what they like, right? I'm sure I like things that you would be like, girl, why? That's whack. I'm sure. I already know it's true. If I ever let you really in, you would know that there are plenty of things that I like that are probably whack and cheesy, but they warm my heart, girl. Okay. But in any case, I think that's where I'm going to stop now. Did I finish my thought of, I want this to be a part 1? So I feel like a part 2, would be trying to create a female character that I think represents really wonderful traits of women, femininity, where are strengths that women have that are inherent and natural to women specifically, and can we make those into a character that we enjoy? Not perfect, but someone that we enjoy. Can we write a good character that is a strong female character that doesn't have to be, perfect Mary Sue girl boss, annoying, contrary bitch? You know what I'm saying? And maybe I offended you. It's very possible. I'm interested. Let me know. Or if you agree, let me know. And what are your thoughts on what makes an actual strong female character that we can get behind, that we can like root for, that we want to watch her story, So anyway, love you. Have a great day. Listen, look for part 2. I don't know when it's going to come. Look for part 2 where we maybe try to make a character, a female character who's strong without being irritating and annoying, right? Anyway, I love you. Listen, have a great day. Until next time, friend.